Hi, I'm Dimari.
And I'm Brandon. Before the show begins, please subscribe, like, comment, and share with a friend.
This allows us to increase our visibility on the platforms where you listen and watch so we can continue to bring you quality content each week. Help us grow, and we can grow together by enlightening minds one question at a time.
And now, back to the show. We're back side by side. I'm Brandon Rizzo.
I'm Dimari Swanagain.
And we are back with a new episode. Just off the top, of course, if you haven't caught an episode yet, side by side, we're all about creating unity through diversity, asking engaging questions to try to change and enlighten minds one question at a time. And one of the things that's important on this podcast is we're starting from the beginning, and we're really dedicated to showing the stories of everyday people who have interesting stories to tell, who do interesting things, and maybe you don't know about them because they're not super celebrities like on all the other podcasts, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to tell the stories you don't hear that are just as interesting and just as inspiring. So we're excited to bring two new guests on again this week. Yeah. I'm really excited to talk to these guys. We're gonna get into it in a minute here, but before we do, what are you excited about?
Man, what am I excited about, bro? That's kind of. I'm excited about the release, man. Release, yeah. We got the podcast. We've been working on it. I'm excited about the music we've been creating. I want to really. I'm just pumped, bro. I'm like, yo, they gotta hear this. They gotta see this work. They gonna get this work all summer, bro.
Yeah,
yeah, man. What's up with you, man? What are you excited about?
Well, got back from a trip this week.
Yeah,
it was like one of those trips. I went to Europe. I think I talked about it on a previous podcast episode, but just got back last Monday, and it's like one of those trips where you have a lot of eye-opening, mind, clairvoyant moments where you kind of realizations about life and stuff. And
what was one of them? What happened?
Just that I've always been into travel. Obviously, you know that about me. My wife and I love to travel, and it's just something that it just brings so much perspective to everything. And that was one of the big takeaways was I have to keep doing this. I got to do it more and want to get to more countries, more cities and see the world. So that was a big takeaway. And just honestly, I told you yesterday before we met or whatever, that I had some thoughts about the podcast and just very excited about coming back and getting back to it and talking to people and hearing some more of these stories, man. I'm super excited about it. Yeah.
It was a good trip, though?
It was a great trip. Yeah.
Great trip.
Great
nice.
trip.
You were there for a wedding or something?
Yeah, I was there for a wedding. Went to Amsterdam, Paris, and London. Super fun.
Did you get high in Amsterdam?
Actually did not.
Whack.
Did not. So we were just doing a lot of sightseeing, walking around. I had plenty to drink this trip. I actually need to not drink for a minute because plenty of drinking and eating. But yeah, it was some cool spots. We saw just Amsterdam. Obviously, we did sightseeing and stuff in every city, but we went to a lot of cool restaurants, a lot of good meals, just hidden gems and stuff that.
Those are the best.
Yeah, it was cool. Actually, in Paris, we went to this one Italian restaurant. Marcella found it on the app. I was just doing some research. We were coming back from Versailles, so we just wanted to find an Italian restaurant, and she found this one. I can't remember what it's called, but it was super cool looking. It was like neon green from the outside, and there's this cute little corner in a alleyway street. Yeah. And
I saw a picture, actually. You posted it.
Yeah. And we walked in, and there wasn't really anybody there yet because it was 5:30, 6-ish. So it was right before the dinner rush. And it was just this guy, this old man, and his daughter was bartending. He was running the room, and then there were a couple cooks in the kitchen. and he was Italian. He was Italian, but he was a Sicilian. So it's like he was like the menu was Sicilian inspired, and he was like super excited, like coming over the table, getting to know us, and like telling us about the dishes and stuff. And we just developed this rapport with him. And then the night we like gave him a hug and stuff. And Marcella wants to get one of those like Italian Greyhound dogs at some point, like. And if we do get one, we're gonna name it after the guy's name was Bruno. So shout out to Bruno in Paris,
Bruno, who may never see this episode.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's dope. Well, let's bring these guests on.
Yes, man. For sure. You want to intro them?
Yeah, man. So super excited, man. We got Charles Martin III. We're gonna call him Chuck today, and we got the great artist Jamal Williams. Call him Maaly. Super excited to have these two guys on, man. Maaly, we'll start with you, man. So, what are you excited about?
Man, I'm just excited about new experiences, setting goals, accomplishing goals. See, y'all know that I'm heavy on the podcast. Starting my network, starting my production house. Really knocking some check marks off. That's what I was doing today, mostly. Collecting a bunch of like old episodes from a couple podcasts I did a couple years ago and putting them all in one place. So yeah, man, cool. That's what I'm excited for.
Nice, man. Nice. What's the podcast? What you got?
Evolve Studios, bro.
Evolve Studios. Check them out.
Yeah. We'll drop it in the comment or the show notes. Yeah. So make sure you get that to us. But go ahead and plug it. Where can they find it?
So you can find it right now. We just YouTube and Apple Podcasts. If you type evle.am, you can find the channel. But so right now I got two podcasts that I'm currently doing. One is Mommy's Anonymous and the other is Toxic Adventures. But I got maybe like 2-3 other shows that I'm about to put in production in the next couple months. And if you go on the channel now, you'll see 2 shows that I did from 2017, 2018. One is Second Childhood Podcast. And the other is Commonwealth Podcast. So just building.
Nice, man. Nice. You busy. That's definitely something to be excited about. Like,
yeah, man.
I love it, man. Chuck, man, what you excited about? What you got going on?
Man, I'm excited for the future, man. Got a couple of things cooking in the pot. Well, first and foremost, I'm excited to be on this podcast today. Yay. So thank you for the invite to the Side by Side podcast, coming, Brandon. Man. Shout out to you on the animation in the beginning. That was hot. So I think me and you talked about this a little bit, Dimari, but I got my cannabis transporter license for the state of Illinois. So building that logistics company out and getting operations rolled out for that business. Got a little bit of real estate in St. Louis, Missouri. So looking to grow that portfolio and looking to scale up things at the gig. So I work a day job too.
Nice, man. You got a lot. Y'all got a lot. Yeah. We got some.
All right.
Some powerhouse people
here today. Let's talk a little bit about.
I mean, I wish I did something cool though, like Maaly though.
So the cannabis and the real estate is cool enough. You feel me?
Yeah, we'll get into the day job in a minute. No, we'll talk about that. Are you a small business owner, young professional, or pre-retiree looking to grow and protect your assets but don't know where to start? With all the noise about stocks, bonds, cryptos, it can be hard to know what steps to take. Let Black Swan Financial Group help you so you can focus on doing what you're good at. Black Swan Financial Group is a telefinancial planning firm operating in select states nationwide. They're here to help you protect, create, and grow your assets. Visit BlackSwanFinancialGroup.com today to get your free consultation. Now back to Side by Side.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I would love. We always love to hear about people's upbringing, just kind of like their history. Their set the stage for the podcast and for the people.
Yeah.
So Charles, we'll just stay with you for a minute there. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, your family history, all that stuff, and just give us a little background
and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah. Okay. Big question. Who am I? Really? Born and raised Southside of Chicago. Went to Kenwood for high school. One of the one of the best high schools in the city, arguably. So, come from Chatham, Southside neighborhood, not a necessarily great neighborhood, but not a bad neighborhood either.
But y'all had the best heroes though.
We did have the best heralds till they shut us down. Shout out to COVID.
That's another argument.
Yeah, right.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, we cut into your upbringing.
With the best heralds?
Which heroes do you think is better?
Well, let's table that. Let's table that. Okay.
I gotta put this out there. Which one you think is better though?
Listen, man. It was a couple that was in the lead, yo. 91st and Ashland was top dog.
It's hard. I get 10 Trey and Halston is hard.
When they got new management, it kind of was like, but
if you would have said 103rd and Halston, I'd have gave you a
103rd and Halston is good.
That's
too.
the only one, bro, that is in competition with 87th, bro. But
87 was like the tourist heralds.
I never got to try the 87th one.
The best one.
Yeah.
87th was the baseline.
But that's the one that made it to the news. It's like that's good, but it's cool though. It's cool.
All right, okay. So my bad, my bad.
Yeah, so grew up down the street from the 87th Street Heralds.
Okay.
The best one in Chicago.
That's right.
Man, I didn't have like a great GPA in high school. I had a 1.9 GPA. I didn't really like school that much. I wasn't a necessarily great student, but I always knew the power of people and the power of relationships. And I think that's, I had a counselor that helped me get into college, went to SIUE, had never heard of the school, had never really visited before I went there, ended up, becoming a student leader. I did student government senate. I was a student government senator, president of my fraternity. Went on to get a master's degree from that school. And, my mom, she just can't believe it. She couldn't believe it some days because she's like, wow, the kid who I couldn't get to do his homework not one day out the week, went on to pursue a master's degree. And
so what would you say was like the catalyst? You went from a 1.9 GPA at Kenwood all the way to having an MBA. Or you had the master, you're working on the MBA or something, right?
Yeah, I got a master's, so I almost got 2 master's degrees. I got a master's in education, and I'm halfway through an MBA.
Crazy. So what would you say was the catalyst?
I think the way that things are taught in schools played a big part in why I didn't do so well in high school, because, I'm sure we've all taken, trigonometry, maybe calculus, maybe physics, maybe chemistry. And, I think those things are important if you're looking to be a scientist or you're looking to be a practitioner in, medicine or law or accounting or something like that. But basically in high school, you had to learn a bunch of shit you didn't care about. And in high school, I was able to pick in college, I was able to pick my courses and learn about things that I was genuinely interested in. So like, I don't have I didn't study like biology or anything like that. I took a number of courses. I took courses in criminal justice. I took courses in sociology. I took courses in communications. I took courses in geography, climatology, just anything that sounded fascinating to me. I literally just kind of signed up for it. Now, of course, you have to follow a certain pathway so that you can get a degree at the end of all of this. But I tried to make my education as diverse and well-rounded as I could, because that's just kind of how I think. And I think having a multidisciplinary sort of education put me in position to sort of go down whatever path I kind of set my mind to, because I had a little bit of foundation in what felt like everything.
So how are you even accepted? I mean, you went from a 1.9 GPA. How did you get into SIU? And also, like, what was your like family dynamic? You mentioned your mom. Did you grow up in a 2-parent household, single parent household? How was that?
Yeah. So I grew up in a 2-parent household. My father had his own, issues and dealings with the law growing up. So he was kind of in and out of the house. But he, when he did return, home, he stayed at home. So I had kind of the traditional nuclear family. So mom, dad, younger sister, dog.
Shout out to the dogs.
Shout out to the dogs.
Right. Shout out Kenny. But yeah, my mom was she's actually a producer for Chicago Tonight. So she works at WTTW. So she's in the media space. My dad has worked a number of odd jobs just to kind of, keep bread on the table, if you will. So he's done a number of things. He's worked at the rail yards. He's worked at Walmart. He's worked at, factories. He's worked a number of places. And I always admired him for, no matter what he kind of went through in his, past life, he always made a way to make a way out of no way.
Yeah.
When there's seemingly no way. And I think that was always kind of inspiring to me as well. Like my mom, I mean, she's just a superwoman as is. I mean, how many black women, who are in the media space in an executive position for like a major TV station. So she's awesome. Superwoman in that regard. And then, my father was a good example of resilience growing up. So persevering when the cards are stacked against you. So I think having those influences growing up sort of helped me push through when I didn't seem to be promising of much success for my future, especially as a teenager.
So were you planning to go to college, or was that just something that just happened?
Man, I would say that. So, without getting too far astray, I had ambitions on joining the fire department when I was in high school. So that was my thing. I knew that I didn't want to work a desk job because, I mean, the idea of, driving in the same traffic to go to the same cubicle to do the same thing every day, the idea of that absolutely drove me insane. Yeah. And I knew I had to do something. And I knew I wanted to do something where I was helping people. And I had a mentor who was a firefighter. He made 6 figures. He only worked 3 days a week. And I was like, I could do that. Yeah. So firefighters, they're on 24 off 48. It sounded like, and they got to stay in shape. So I was like, okay, I get paid to work out, chill at the firehouse, and
that didn't happen. So you ultimately went to college, and what happened that made you decide you were going to go to college? And then how did that, just to wrap up and make sure we get Maaly involved? How did you get to the point where you are now? Because as far as I know, you do work like a desk job now, right?
Yes, I do actually. Yes, the irony of the song is actually driving the same traffic to go to the same cubicle to do the same thing every day, or not drive to the cubicle because of the pandemic. Just drive to the desk.
It's virtual now. So what happened? How did you?
Man, I think I was just exposed to. I think that. In a nutshell, going away to college, being out on my own, kind of exploring things without any influence of, my parents or my family or the people who I grew up around, I was able to sort of, ask myself what I really wanted to do and ask myself what was really most important to me. And what's most important to me is empowering myself to do the things that are important to me and to do for myself and do for my family. And financial independence is something that was important to me. And to make a longer story short, I got an opportunity to go to grad school for free because of my involvement, in college and doing all the various things I did on campus. I got a graduate assistantship. I was able to get a master's degree for free. That put me in the driver's seat to get a position at a university. So I worked at St. Louis University, running a university department for a number of years. Working in that experience is ultimately what led me to my current job. So right now I work at LinkedIn. I'm a customer success manager, and it's a job that I didn't know anything about, but it offers me the flexibility. It gives me the sort of professional development experience I need to invest in my own personal businesses and grow my own business portfolio.
That's awesome.
Awesome,
man. So Maaly, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
kind of the same thing. Grew up in between Chatham and I guess that would be Chatham, like 83rd, Maryland. That's kind of where I grew up at. Then I moved more east. Went to South Shore High School. I think for me, like at a young age, I feel like I went to college more so because of, that's what everybody told me I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, I think my story was maybe like a little bit backwards than yours. Because like in high school, I wasn't perfect, but my grades was good enough to get into college. When I got to college, I realized like I think I'm kind of done with school. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make my own rules. I knew I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a graphic designer. So I was like, okay, how do I make this a business? How do I make this profitable? And I guess just jumping into different circles and messing with different people, just kind of opened the door for me to kickstart that. And I've been doing that for, the last 10 years. And over COVID is the first time, like right now is the first time I've really been completely without a 9-to-5, just really striving off my entrepreneurial spirit, I would say. Yeah. And it's been working out, I can't complain. I've definitely had better days, but, I think that, just allowing myself to walk my own path and make my own rules is very fulfilling.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So so kind of going back a little bit earlier in life, like, I met you years ago. I don't even know.
You was one of the people diving in different circles.
Yeah. I was like, yo, this kid like is super talented. They like, yo, that's Raymo little brother. I'm like, bro, we gotta keep him close. Like, I don't know who he is, but he gotta stick around. So like, how did you get to get to where you are? Like, what was your upbringing? Like, I know your brother obviously, but like, what was dive into that a little bit more.
Mom and dad, regular working class people. My mom had a career job. She was an accountant for a trucking company since I was a kid up until she got laid off when I was like a junior in high school. Recession shit.
2008.
Yeah. So she got laid off then, but she had been there for over 20 years. And then she kind of had to like restructure what her working life would be. Dad, paralegal. What else did he do? Like kind of odds and ends jobs, but paralegal was like where his craft, was his career in the law system. And they divorced when I was maybe like 4th grade, so I kind of grew up in between households. I don't know if that really kind of shaped me into who I am, because I am a family guy. I got kids, I got fiance and all that different stuff. So that didn't like deter me or anything like that. But that's kind of where I come from.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So like, you guys both mentioned 2 things, right? Which was about the fathers, having like odds in jobs or whatever to do what they got to do as black men. Like, so you both landed, 9-to-5, have careers, and then also, I know you have your own graphic design business and stuff like that that's doing well. Like, what would you say? Like, do you think that that's like a common thing that you see in the black communities where a lot of maybe black men don't necessarily have these career paths? And if so, does that like affect, the decisions you've made to be where you are today? And we can go with you, Maaly.
I would say, I like to break things down by like the generation. And I just think that with each generation, we just, have different opportunities than the generation that came before us, So a lot of the fathers from, the 80s and 90s, they might not have had the opportunity to go to college or really, fulfill whatever the destiny that was predetermined for them. Or, a lot of people, don't have their fathers due to violence or drugs or alcoholism, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But I think that, us and our generation, the millennial generation, seeing those things and wanting to be different and do different things, it just kind of, builds that character to say, hey, I'm going to I'm gonna be the one that kind of, takes that side path and not continue the cycle, for the next generation after us to say, okay, I see what they did. They moved the wheel a little bit further. Now it's my turn to move a little bit further.
I love that. I love that. What do you have to say to that, Chuck?
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with Maaly's sentiments a lot. I think that there's definitely I think we live in kind of a fatherless society today, especially amongst the Black community and then amongst Black families. And I think that just having that father figure presence does so much for the development of a child, and just seeing a man who cares about you, on a regular basis, who's doing something with his life that's positive. I think that is part of what leads to both, I and Maaly's, successes that we've, achieved today. I think, Maaly, I think you're successful. You set out to be a graphic artist, and you went and did that. You ask me, you're a smashing success. I set out to go to college, get a solid job that I could pay for myself. I mean, I think I succeeded in that. And I think that even if our fathers didn't achieve, all that they could, I think that there are still other influences in our lives, other Black figures who we looked to and sought mentorship from, that added to, the development of who we are today. And you can't leave those men out either.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. So I want to kind of shift gears a little bit, right? And definitely we got to talk about the art, bro.
Yeah.
Like, Maaly gets busy, and he just, like, for the people that are listening and not watching, I feel like he just, like, moved away from the camera to slightly show some of his artwork. Like, that was like a shameless plug.
No, I was plugging in the computer, bro.
to pull up some images, right? He like, yo, no, but Maaly really has that work. So, like, I am an artist. Rizzo's an artist. We're just like artists. Chuck, do you have any like art medium?
So, I played. I've played music my entire life. Like, I've played saxophone since I was
nice
in, I guess, 5th grade. I did marching band, jazz band, concert band.
Oh, he a geek.
But, right. Yeah. Like, really marching, like really out there. That was your boy. I produce a little bit, but I'm rusty. You asked me to whip something up, it's gonna take me a really long time.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's like anything else. It requires.
Hey everybody, Brandon and Dimari from Side by Side here. Just want to tell you about one of our newest sponsors, Ease Web Development.
Ease Web Development specializes in building high-conversion websites and marketing campaigns that take your business to the next level. They're the easy decision when it comes to marketing.
So check them out now at www.easewebdev.com. That's ease, WEBDEV.com. Now back to the show.
So that's good. So we're all creatives, right? And so for me, it was crazy because I went through a period where I was, having success with music, got some opportunities from some labels and stuff like that. And then I didn't go forward with it, and then transitioned and got into like another passion of mine, which is like financial services. So that 9 to 5, I guess you will. Right. And then there was like a huge void, which was I didn't have a creative outlet, but I didn't realize that was the void. And it was like 5 years had gone by, and I realized like that's what's missing.
Yeah.
So
same here.
That happened to you too?
Well, yeah, I think we talked a little bit about it on the first episode, but yeah, I similarly, like with music, started out with music and was always in a grind phase with music. I was in a band, and we grinded for many, many years, and then I went solo, and I moved to another city and tried to build my network again, and then got to that point, kind of like Dimari, where I was like, all right, well, I'm married now, I'm getting a little older, I want to like invest in my career development, so I kind of switched gears for a little while, and then I similarly had that kind of like void feeling. And
yeah, so it's just like real. It's super real. So that's what I was going to ask, because art is, I think, one of the greatest things. Like, I mean, it's like to me, that's what it means when we say like we are made in God's image, because we have the ability to create as well. And
it's a natural resource, bro.
Yeah. And sometimes you can't pay your bills with it though. So it's like, how do you and I definitely want to talk to you about this, Maaly. It's like, how do you persevere, and continue to do this? Because I've been watching you, and I'm sure you were doing it before I even met you, because you were already good by the time I met you. I think maybe you were in high school or something. I don't know. And then
I was probably like 17, 18.
Right. And so now here you are all these years later, getting better, still persevering. Like, what keeps you going as far as like art?
Well, it is a such thing as a starving artist. That's true to form. But I think that you just gotta figure out how to monetize without jeopardizing your integrity. I think for me, with me being an artist, a visual artist and a graphic designer, the graphic design part is, I guess, what kind of feeds that, because it's like, people always need logos, people always need flyers, people need business cards, websites, all these different things. So that kind of feeds it. I know I got friends that are strictly just like fine artists. They paint, and it's like they got to rely on selling them paintings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the digital is just not the thing at all. So I think that's a big thing. Gotta land the big clients too. Like the clients is gonna pay that full branding. I want the website, I want the logo, I want the full branding. The whole thing. Yeah. Also, now I'm more so moving into trying to work with brands, and the real, the business that got that bread. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Because it's like that's really where you eat at. So I think that's kind of how you could sustain moving into that corporate lane and just building, doing good business.
So what was your first like art medium? I know like we were all musicians. Well, he's like a legit musician, Chuck. I mean, he played the saxophone marching around, right? That wasn't me. I was just like rapping dudes was beating on the lunch table. I was getting busy. But like, so what was your first art medium, and like when did you, realize you were gonna be an artist?
As a kid, bro. Like for real, I can remember, and it's like the most vivid memory of me being an artist. I always remember drawing, but I remember I was in 3rd grade, and we had an assignment. We had to like write or draw or something like that, what we wanted to be when we grew up. And I put an artist. But the only reason I remember that is because my older sister was like, you spell artist wrong. So it's like I have that like memory. Like a true artist. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I it just been forever, and I just constantly grew up just drawing, sketching, doodling. And what's so crazy is and this is how I know that everything is just aligned as what I'm supposed to do. So the high school I went to, they had an art teacher, and this dude, like literally every year they had the same art project. They had to make like these big paper mache masks, right? And I didn't get art until my junior year in high school, right? My junior year comes, they finally switch art teachers. They hire this new guy, right? I'm really into cars. I'm into graffiti. I'm into, street art, right? First day of class, he give us this sheet of paper. It's, write your favorite artist, write your favorite art style, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. So I put cars, my favorite artist, graffiti, my favorite art style, right? Next day, I'm walking in the hall. Art teacher comes and grabs. He say, "Yo, you Jamari?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Okay, we learning lettering." I'm like, "All right." Long story short, this dude is like an OG graffiti artist from Detroit. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Crazy, right? Crazy. And like still to this day, like he's like one of my go-to mentor, still talk to him today. He still throw me oops, you know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy how that happened. We had this one art teacher for 3 years. I finally get art, and now y'all switch to this dude that kind of like is aligned for what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's divine.
I used to bring my sketch pads to school, and he used to be like, "Yo, so when you gonna start working with Photoshop?" And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. So he like introduced me to that, and just constantly, all right, do this, do that, download this software when you get home, or check out this website, just all of these different resources. So yeah, man.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love those stories of like synchronicity.
Yeah.
That's
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, I mean, and you brought up
serendipity. And what's so crazy, that's one of his favorite words. He stays saying that.
Because that's exactly
so
what it is. I mean, you brought up an interesting point, but before I even get into that, which was the thing you brought up was mentorship and the importance of it. But I wanted to kind of go back and make sure that Chuck had an opportunity. So you were doing marching band, and then what happened?
Man, so it's crazy. It's crazy. Because Maaly's story made me think about a question that I wanted to ask you, Dimari, and really anyone on this call. Because it sounds like, Maaly, you had a creative mentor that sort of, poured into you a little bit, and that could have been like the stimuli, impetus, if anyone, if everybody in the world doubts me, Mr. What's his name?
McElgin.
Mr. McElgin got me. Mr. McElgin got my back. So it's like, I think we all have those creative mentors of ours growing up, and to your question, what happened? Sometimes I feel like I turned my back on my creative mentors, and sometimes I feel like I sold out, and I just went and got me a good government job. you know what I'm saying? Just like Grandma wanted,
right?
And it's I actually, and I may have told you this before, Dimari, I may not have, but Chance, the rapper, is actually like my cousin. Like, we actually like grew up together, lived down the street, like went to day camp together, went to away camp together, tried to go to the same schools. I tried to go to Jones, I tried to go to Skinner. Like, we were really close cousins, and we grew up making beats together on a computer. Me and him begged my mother to buy us this terrible beat software called Acoustica Beat Graph. It was expensive as shit. All it did was make drum sounds, and we had no idea what we were going to do with it. But we convinced our parents, our moms, to like buy it, and we made like beat tapes, all kinds of stuff like that. And he stuck with it, and I didn't. So I think that what part of it was, I was struggling in school, like actual like classes, as we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, and I had to get that taken care of, because the goal was to go to college because you're supposed to. So my mom, when I told her I want to be a producer, it's like, what does that mean? And I look back on that now, because my mom is actually a producer, a television producer.
Right.
But, like, what do you mean, what is a producer? I'm like, I'm going to sell beats. I'm going to sell my music. And she's just like, sell beats? You're going to be broke. Like, what do you, what do you, you're not, like, you need to do something that's going to really make you some money, son. And you really need to sit down and think about that. And had I sat down and thought hard enough, I would have figured out how to chase my dreams and sustain myself financially.
Could have been making beats with Chano.
Right. I want to piggyback on that too. Me and my fiance was having a conversation about something like that. Just as far as like how you said your mom's a producer. You told her you want to be a producer. The generation before us, entrepreneurship looks so different than it looks now. Yeah. So it's like, you tell your parent now, it's like, okay, how you gonna do that? It's more of a blueprint, a roadmap to get there. But last decade, it was like, there was no SoundCloud, you know, there wasn't like YouTube was a thing, but it wasn't like, you know,
it wasn't able to monetize the way you could.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, social media was what it was, but
there
now
definitely
it's like
was
such
not an OnlyFans back then.
Exactly.
No. Are musicians on OnlyFans? I'm curious.
I'm sure.
Wait, what'd you say, Chuck?
I said, are musicians on OnlyFans? Like, I'm curious. I feel like that's what it's trying for.
Yeah, I mean, the company wants it to be like, they created it to be like a thing where artists and creators could like go directly to their fans, but it just became this whole other thing.
Something else. I was gonna say, I'm sure that they are, because it's like a twin of like Patreon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just that the not safe for work crowd got to it first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's exactly what
but now it's such a roadmap. We've seen the journey travel so many times that it kind of makes sense. Back then, it's like, what are you even talking about? I mean, I got the same thing from my parents. Like, you're gonna be a graphic designer. Like, what is
right?
Like, what is that? Mean? You know, what is an artist? Like, what do you mean? But now, you know, my mom, my dad see it. You know, they like, okay.
Yeah, it was funny because I was having a conversation with one of the other supporting role, Cody, who's probably listening in right now. We were having a conversation like a week ago, and we were just talking about like success, right? And it was like a revelation that came to me, which was like, everybody that we admire in life is basically like, because they have like some success story. And the reason why they're successful is because they get up and do what they want to do every day. It doesn't feel like work to them, right? So it's like Maaly can get up and design logos all day. It doesn't feel like work to him. I'm sure like there's moments where you're like, oh, I got to do that. But you enjoy doing it. So if you do anything that you enjoy and you actually are good at it, you're going to have success. And that's like living the ultimate dream, which is like setting out to be something and then doing it every day and then finally, monetizing from it. It's like, it's insane. So like when you were a kid, Chuck, like what did you want to be? You said a firefighter and then something shifted and you wanted to be a producer. So like, what was like at the core for you?
No. At the core for me, like if you were to ask my like childhood self, like what I wanted to be, it was a producer. I think firefighting and things like that came like in high school after the creativity was already like beaten out of me, by, mentors, society, people telling me what I was supposed to do, people telling me that, if you don't get your grades up, you're not going to be successful in life, you're going to be a failure. So it's like, okay, I think firefighting felt like low-hanging fruit. I think some of the reasons that I was so attracted to it because it seemed like not so much work. but
meanwhile, it's like one of the most difficult jobs
and dangerous
as ever.
Well, I'm going to push back on that a little bit because, I mean, the way that building structures are designed today, I mean, of course, you've got older structures that, if they catch fire, then it's a pretty dangerous situation, but a firefighter is not, it sounds counterintuitive, but a firefighter is not going to run into a burning building that's coming down. Like there's strategies, like there's fire science, there's a method to the madness, if you will. Yeah. Once I learned more about that, I was like, oh, y'all really don't do anything. Got it. So,
so if this show ever blows up, every firefighter is about to like,
it's going to blow him up.
Bro. Like, no, I watch Background.
For the record, I love firefighters.
I love firefighters.
I wanted to be one. I love firefighters. Shout out to the boys in red.
I hung out with firefighters like all day when I was a kid. Shout out to Truck 42 and Engine 59. And Mike Lubianca, who was a lieutenant at the time, in which I found out he became a captain later, but I used to run with him all the time as a kid. I hung out with the firefighters, bro, like every third day when they... And I became like super tight with them, so I think they would be really disturbed.
It's weird we're talking about firefighting too, like it being kind of like everybody's thing. Because my grandfather was a firefighter for his whole life.
Oh, really?
And he served in World War II as a firefighter.
And he just hated on your grandpa.
No. I didn't hate on my grandpa. Sorry, I thought you said you. I was like, no. But no, my grandfather, he was a firefighter in the war. He wasn't in combat or anything, but he worked on the stuff at like, Hawaii and Navy Pier when it was Navy Pier. And And I remember when I was a real little kid, he took us to tour the firehouse in the town that I was from, or that I was born in. And it was like one of those memories that's like seared into your brain as a child. Like, and I have pictures in the photo albums and stuff of me at that firehouse. So it's always cool to like see how everybody kind of like has this firefighter thing.
Everybody loves firefighters. Yeah, I used to hang out there every third day. Like, really, dude, I went on a call with them once. I wasn't supposed to, but I did it. It was just like someone was stuck in an elevator though, but I like pulled the thing. Yeah, used to slide down the pole a couple times. Like it was crazy.
You enjoy sliding down that pole, huh?
Oh boy, hey man, listen.
Sorry,
hey,
at the end of the day,
bro. At the end of the day, bro, these bills ain't gonna pay themselves.
Wild boy.
Yep. Right. Side by side, OnlyFans coming soon.
but look, so Chuck, so you mentioned you wanted to be a producer, and then you kind of just let other people influence your thoughts of what you were capable of. So looking back on it, like what advice would you give your 19-year-old self?
My 19-year-old self, my younger self. I would say some off the cuff, like I would say have confidence in yourself, but I don't want to say that without providing like some context. So I would say that education breeds confidence. Mm-hmm. So I would say to my younger self, Charles, is this something that you really want to pursue? You need to learn absolutely everything you can about it. You need to know what it looks like. You need to have a plan. You need to know where you're going to get resources. You need to know who's in your circle. You need to know who you can, lean on if you need support financially, emotionally, artistically, and build your castle around this shit, and protect it. Because I think I think fear is ultimately what stopped me from doing what I wanted to do, and a lack of real preparation, because I let the opinions of others get to me, and ultimately I think that turned into sort of a self-sabotage, and I just started investing in other things instead of what I really, really wanted. I still look back on it to this day. I still people say they have no regrets. I do. So,
Yeah. So is that something you feel passionate about?
So yes, it is something that I'm still passionate about. I still will sell a beat before I leave this earth.
Hey,
let's go.
I got $50,
God willing.
Yeah.
And I think that what I feel like I'm doing in my mind is trying to build myself up financially so that I can sort of sustain myself and invest more energy into the creative things that I want to do. But sometimes that feels like, well, why don't you just invest all your time into what you really want to do?
Right.
And then I get right back into that sort of like loop, if you will.
Yeah, it's the great.
It's hard,
It's the great dissonance of I feel like every artist or creative is that constant pull and tug of got to make the money to keep the lights on, but also got to do my stuff to keep my life alive. And it's that back and forth is like tears you apart. I know I feel that.
That's why I'm doing Ramadan right now. I always practice fasting because, I come from the school of starving artists, man. Maaly know what's up, man. So, I mean, Maaly, you've been on this journey for a long time. Obviously, you said since you were third grade, so I guess that's like eight years old or something like that. You knew you wanted to be an artist. You're still doing it. Are you where you thought you would be by this time?
Of course not. I thought I'd be on a yacht driving a Porsche.
Wait, on a yacht driving a Porsche?
Driving the Porsche on
the yacht. You feel me? Nah,
that's how big the yacht is.
Nah, for real. I mean, the word that I just turned 30 this year, in March, and the word that I'm like harping on, constantly going back to, is just be intentional. You know, when you ask for things, like, be intentional. You know, we all, you know, when we're young, we all say, yeah, I want to be, you know, this, I want to be that. You know what I'm saying? And we forget to be as detailed as possible with certain things. So I think that creatively, yes, I'm where I want to be. Career wise, I'm getting there. I mean, that's all I can ask for, you know. Yeah. That's all I can ask for.
So, what you know, you've been on this path. Is there anything? Obviously, you learn things along the way when you're just in it. So, like, is there anything you would have done differently looking back?
Looking back, I would have bought Bitcoin, bro.
Well, absolutely.
I feel that.
Absolutely.
Nah, but yeah, I just would have been way more intentional. I would have invested more time in building social media presence. If I would have known, you know, I mean, of course, you know, everything is hindsight. If I would have knew then what I know now, built more ground in the social media space. Been more intentional with money. I wasted a lot of money buying Jordans and shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're a sneakerhead. You're not a sneakerhead.
But them compliments feel good though. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, they definitely felt good. You know, definitely felt good.
They sure do.
I just would have been way more intentional building out my space in the social media space, and being more business savvy. You know, I was so young, just trying to make the best art, you know, but not taking the business as serious. And also too, like, and what's crazy too, I wanted to be an artist and all of this, but I didn't know any artists growing up. You know, I didn't know anybody that paint or sculpt or, you know, none of that. So, you know, what's so crazy? So my teacher was the first person that I met that I like, oh, this is an artist right here, you know. And then you remember Tone, right, Jet?
Of course.
Okay, bet. So he was like the first person really that I was like, okay, this is an artist right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and he was young too. So it was like, you know, everybody was really just kind of getting their feet wet, trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So like with that, you know, hindsight, you said social media. Now we got the metaverse and all of this AI and VR stuff. Like, you know, are you doing anything with that moving forward?
I want to do an NFT collection. I'm still trying to figure everything out about it though. But I definitely want to. I got 2 collections that I want to do. And I'm like, all right, because I'm like, okay, everybody's making all this money, you know, but it's attached to a level of exposure,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like you got people like Offset. Or is it Offset? One of the Migos.
Lil Baby. I know he got one.
Lil Baby. Like all of these people jumping in the NFT space, making all this money, but it's like the amount of exposure that they have is like, of course.
It's like
you dig what I'm saying?
If they open an ice cream shop, they're gonna make money. You know what I'm saying?
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's kind of where I'm at a crossroad with it. Yeah, just I do want to get into it, but I'm definitely doing my due diligence before I jump head in.
Well, I feel like with the on the NFT point, I feel like it's to your point, it's like it's either a meme or a moment. And the moments usually come from celebrities, influencers, people like, because like even in the sports world, like it's really popular in the UFC right now, where a fighter will get like an NFT made of a knockout they did, and then that instantly sells because everybody knows about that moment. Or the other thing, if it's not a moment or a celebrity making it, the memes are coming out, and the memes are what make it from people who are nobodies, you know, and then they sell their meme for, you know, X number of dollars. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I mean, kind of listening to what you had said about yourself, and today it's like you don't want to waste too much time because
for sure,
it's a fleeting moment, and like, you know, we've been trying to wrap our head around a lot of stuff too, because, you know, we having fun with this podcast. We've been making music. Rizzo and I have been making music for over a decade together. We just never really released anything because I ended up moving to New York like shortly after he and I formed our friendship. And then he moved to LA and yada, yada, yada. So we finally back in the same place. for the first time in a long time. So this my creative brother. Like he got the crazy like work ethic and stuff too. Whereas like I got other friends, they creative, but they just make excuses. So he's never making excuses unless he's sleepy. That's the only excuse he got. Right. He always sleepy. But you know,
got to get my 8 hours, man.
That's valid, man.
I don't play that game. I sleep when
as much as you work, you gotta rest, man.
I don't play that game, man. I just don't get sleepy like that, bro. Like I don't.
He does have crazy energy. I've always thought.
I guess that's a person to person thing because it's easy for me to like if I got like 10 projects a week and I'm really like drilling hard. It's easy for me to get burnt out, like super easy. And it's like my fiance's like, I know you think you Superman, but you gotta, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, you got to take those little power naps, like. But when I'm doing something,
I hate naps, bro.
Oh, really?
I hate naps.
The quick 20.
Because I'm a real like
so
I'm asleep. Like if I try to take a 20-minute nap, it'll be 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have discipline.
That's real.
I hate the naps. I like to sleep. I
always.
But you know what? I think I'm kind of like Dimari. It's like, you know, I'm sure people have probably told you you're like an energizer buddy. It's like you just keep going, you don't stop, and I can definitely get in those modes. I mean, I definitely rest, but when I'm dead set focused on getting something done, I tend to. You
can't let the moment pass. It's like because I'm a true believer that like we're just vessels and the energy passes through us. Yeah. So it's like when it's there, you gotta use the magic. Yeah. Like or
that's a fact.
I get energy. It's like I don't even have to drum it up. It's like when it is that time. It's like, oh, this has to happen. It's now or never, Chuck. It's like,
now or never.
You know.
But Rizzo's like, but we could just do it next week, bro.
Not always. No, I definitely agree with you on the vessel thing. Like I feel that 100%. But I just always feel like when that energy flows through me, it's not flowing through anybody I'm around. And the nights where I'm like, let's go till 3 a.m. Like everybody else is tired.
I feel you.
Yeah, that's real. But that also helps for me because, you know, we'll be working on a track or something and like, you know, we just keep doing it piecemeal. And then I'll come back like 2 weeks later and he's like, got a whole like crazy guitar on it or something. I'm like, yo, you been getting busy, bro. Right. So super excited. Y'all gotta hear the EP, bro. Dropping the EP. So we just like being creative, having a lot of fun with this new like music duo that we got, and we got some heat, bro.
Yeah.
Like we got some
glamours.
So we've been trying to figure out like, well, bangers. You know, do we do an NFT or something, or like, you know, what do we do? You know, how do you get it out there? Because right now, the way the game is set up, it's like anything could go viral. Anything could take off at any given moment. You know what I mean? With the right strategy in place. So just like having, you know, creatives on the platform and just, you know, giving us a platform to talk about this stuff. We also need to get Chuck back as a producer, bro. You need to just call into the gig, tell him you done, bro.
Let's go.
Get your Terrence Martin, bro, sax joint together. You feel me?
Yes. Right, you do this.
We could use some sax on our jams.
We could definitely use some sax.
We could do that. I got the Selmer. I got my that's a saxophone company, and I got a MK3 drum machine. Nice. You know, a little MIDI keyboard. I bring it down to Austin.
Let's go.
Oh man,
we in it. Maaly, I got an NFT idea for you. Nobody's captured the Mike Tyson beating the shit out of a guy in a plane NFT yet. There you go.
Mike Tyson's been to come.
Did you guys see that? Speaking of viral moments, Dimari said something about viral moments. I instantly thought of that because that's like the most viral thing this week.
Happened last week. Yeah.
Of all people to not to tweak with, you tweak with Mike Tyson.
I feel like that's like no one cares. Like no one is even upset.
Like, for real. It's like that's what you deserve.
Yeah. Because like if I punch somebody on an airplane, I'm getting arrested.
You're going to terrorist jail,
bro. It's a federal crime. You're definitely going to bro. They sending you to like Guantanamo Bay or some shit like that. So like, bro, this man literally got off the plane and was seen taking pictures with people. I was like, yo, this dude's a legend. Mike Tyson.
He like went to a party and like 2 hours later and was like smoking weed with everybody,
chilling.
Yeah,
he's a professional.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to touch on, again, going back, we were talking about like the mentors, and we never got to get into that a little bit. So, you know, I read something like a while back that it was like basically every man should have three type of people in their lives, and they should have a mentor, so someone that they look up to. They should have a peer, because that's gonna, iron sharpens iron, and then they should also have a mentee. You know what I mean? So like, who were some Yeah, I try to do it. Like, I try my best to do it. Definitely, we go back and forth, and we combat all day. Yeah. Chuck, who was like a mentor in your life that kind of helped you get to where you are?
Yeah.
And the importance of it, would you say?
Yeah. So, a mentor that's important to me is a guy who actually used to work at Kenwood. So he was a guidance counselor. His name is Anthony Downing. He actually left Kenwood to join the Chicago Fire Department. And
comes full circle.
Yeah, it's all coming back around.
Yeah. So he would come back to Kenwood for this after school program that he used to do, and talk to the young men about careers. And that's when he would tell us about the fire department and how he's on 24 and off 48. And in his off days, he would invest, research, learn about real estate. And he grew this massive real estate portfolio in his downtime. So he's got several multi-unit properties all over Chicago. He actually also has a twin brother who's a firefighter. They actually ended up getting a show on HGTV about like flipping homes, doing all these different like cool things. And he would reach out to me for advice on like, putting together like events, marketing packages, stuff like that. Because, I was just kind of savvy and a younger person who he could ask to do something for free. So, long story short, I think having that mentor growing up is a big part of the reason that I've been able to do a lot of the things that I've done in my life. And he's always kept in touch, like from high school all the way to, I'm 28 now. So from the time I was 16 to today, still talk to him probably bi-weekly.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So that consistency is a huge piece too.
Yeah.
So it was funny. I saw a tweet today, and it was like, how do you repay a person that changed your life? And that was just like an open question, right? So like, how would you, repay him, and how would you repay Mr. Magellan as well? We'll go with you, Maaly.
Just be successful. I think that, he tells me all the time, like when he sees me, he just always like, man, I'm just so proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like as a whether you're an art teacher or gym teacher or literature, music, whatever, you instruct, when you have that student that just like takes that and runs with it and becomes successful, it's like, wow, I really did my job.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like if you're a music teacher and you taught a class and your star pupil turns out to be like Chance the Rapper or something. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Or Kanye or something. It's like, I really did my job. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. So I think that just continuing to reach new heights and set goals and smash those goals, I think that's like the biggest repayment.
Yeah, I love that. What would you say, Chuck?
Man, I don't think I could do it any better than that. I think Maaly hit it on the head. I think the best way to, show someone that you listened to them and actually listened to them is to take the wisdom that they impart on you and use it to level up, to support the people around you, to teach it to the next generation, so it has that multiplier effect. And I don't know if I could find a way to route the bag his way in some way. Maybe we'll go in on a play, a hotel or something. He might not turn that down either. So So
are you guys like mentors to anybody at this time?
So at the moment for me, no, but like the job that I had pre-COVID, I was an art instructor at a high school, and I was teaching maybe about 10 to 15 like freshmen and sophomores, like Photoshop, like teaching them the basics, teaching them how to. So the course that I was teaching, step by step on how to brand a company. So they would come up with a brand name. They would make a logo, they would make business cards, they would make a flyer, they would make mock-ups, they would create a website. Another thing we did was like a comic strip. So like they would, come up with their story, write their story, illustrate it, and then digitalize it, So now that was like super, super crazy fulfilling. And I'm hoping to get called back once the schools and all of that stuff get back 100% from COVID.
That's
to be
awesome.
completely honest.
Nice. That's awesome. And what about you?
Yeah.
Are you a mentor to anybody at the moment, Chuck?
So I'm always kind of iffy on the word mentor, or I guess in terms of what I do. I try to impart wisdom wherever I can. I'm kind of one of those folks who, people in my circle know that, or people who I meet know that you can walk up to me and ask me anything. I do have some folks who are younger than me who I stay in contact with, and they'll ask me for direction on, growing their career, or they ask me questions about, decisions on going to grad school, doing a career switch, things like that. So I guess I don't officially mentor anyone right now, but I'm the person who is always willing to chat and, carve out time, and set aside time to share my insights on anything someone wants to know from my perspective,
Yeah. So what would you guys say, like, just kind of wrapping up a little bit here, but like if you look back at this video 10 years from now, like what would you would have hoped to accomplished in your career?
If I was to look back on this 10 years from now, I would hope that something I said today made an impact on a younger person's life or an older person's life. I hope it made an impact on someone, and I hope something that I said resonated with somebody. And I know there's someone out there that, connects with all of our stories. But, sometimes you'll watch a podcast or you'll listen to a book and you have one of those brain-bending moments that just kind of last forever, that, you're kind of not the same after you hear those, words organized in that certain way. I hope that something that I said had one of those moments for someone.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. As far as like your career, like what do you hope to like have accomplished by then?
Oh, okay.
That was also beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, was
okay.
Awesome.
Okay. I mean, shit, man. I just hope I ain't cracked out on top of somebody's garage.
Oh, that's easy, bro. That's low hanging fruit, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Maaly?
Looking back 10 years from now.
Yeah, 40-year-old Maaly, man.
Yeah, 40-year-old
what does life
Maaly,
look like?
I hope to. It's so crazy how things switch, but I would just stay in the space I'm in now. I would hope to own a full production studio where we are building out sets for podcasts, for shows, for movies, for videos. The whole shebang. That's a goal of mine. Next, I want to open a studio where we can do customized sets for podcasts and different things like that.
That's awesome. I actually have a buddy of mine. That's like what he does. He was an architect. He's going to come on the show. Actually,
I also have a buddy who's here in Austin who builds podcasts for some of the podcasts that you've heard of.
Yeah, he did the big one, right?
He did the big one.
The big one in Austin, the only one that matters except for ours. Which is Joe Rogan.
I was about to say, who's that?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my buddy,
the big one.
My buddy at Soundshed Studios, Matt Alvarez. That's my guy.
Shout out to Matt. No, but I got a friend who is supposed to come on, but now we got to change the dates anyway. But he he was an architect, like trained architect, did that for years, and whatever, ended up changing gears and got an offer to go build like sets for TV shows for like NBC.
No, awesome.
So might have to put you in contact with him or something and let y'all chat it out, man.
Architect is a crazy life from what I understand.
Get
what's that?
Set up the mentorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got the time for that. He's got 2 little kids, but he would certainly take a phone call if I asked him to take a phone call.
Just shoot me a text once a week. I'm out. That'll suffice.
Yeah. Well, it'd be up to you to keep the the relationship going.
Yeah.
Because he's already doing it. You know what I mean? But he's super cool. Love him, man. Love him.
Yeah.
One thing that we didn't get on, and that I wanted to talk about briefly, and it sounds like for you, when you had your corporate experience, Maaly, you enjoyed it. You, Chuck, like you, corporate black man in corporate America, like what's that like, man? How are you? Do you feel like you can be your authentic self, and what's that like?
Yeah. So I work at a pretty unique. I work at a company with a pretty unique company culture. So I'll say my time working in higher education, I worked at a private Catholic college. So working there was what it sounds like,
It was like in the porns, like with the girls in the schoolgirl uniforms, ready to do it all. Because that's what I thought. That's not what was happening. So what was happening? Enlighten the listeners.
It was very business-like, very formal, very, kind of like shirt and tie. I did not feel comfortable or confident, like sort of bringing the personal aspects of myself to that workplace. Out of fear of judgment, out of fear of losing my job that didn't pay so good anyway, so I don't know why I was worried about losing it.
That's real.
LinkedIn is a much younger company. It's a tech company. It's a very sort of, I guess, progressive sort. Like I wore this today at work, right? My experience. So I say all that to say, like, my experience is. Hello, do we still got sound?
Did we lose him?
I thought it was just me.
Yeah. No, I think
we still got sound.
There he is.
He's
back.
Yeah, he's back.
Okay,
there we go.
All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. All that to say, I work a role now, and I think in addition to working at a younger company, more progressive company, I think now I'm just a more confident person. And I think that has come through proving to myself over and over again that the things that I put my mind to, if I really, give it my best, I usually do all right. I may not be phenomenal at everything. No one's phenomenal at everything. But the things that I am good at, I'm pretty good at. So
going back to the Catholic school, like you said, you felt like you couldn't necessarily, I'm paraphrasing, but you couldn't be like your authentic self. Like, do you feel like that was just the story you were telling yourself, or do you really think that, you couldn't do it?
That's a good question. That's a great question, actually. I think it's a little bit of both. It's a yes and. I think there is, that's a part of my story too. So there I proved to myself that, okay, I didn't feel comfortable being here, but I am here and I'm going to do the best that I can while I'm here. And I saw success from that, which led me to the next step, which I believe personally is a better next step. I think I'm in a better financial position. I think I'm at a better company, and I think I do more interesting work.
And you get to be fresh at work, bro.
And I get to bust a fit at the office. Right? I can wear my BBC, I can wear my Dunks, I can wear my New Balance, And
they're like, hey, Chuck, cool shoes, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Whereas, at the college, it's like the president is like, oh, yeah, you're going to a concert after work or something? Like, some condescending, some condescending remark. But, I think it was me telling myself that I didn't belong here, or that, I snuck into this job or something like that, like the whole imposter syndrome thing.
Yeah.
And then also really not having that many skills because it was my first job.
Okay. So I want to kind of juxtapose that with Maaly, because I feel like, Maaly's definitely like the quintessential artist, like as far as I've, my encounters with him. It's like, did you ever, were you ever in a position where you felt like you couldn't be your authentic self in a work environment or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I feel like
so. I think every work environment I've been in, I was able to just be flexible, be authentic. I don't think I ever worked in an environment where I had to kind of like, straighten it up and be like,
because you were always in an artist setting, right?
Pretty much, yeah. For the most part, if it wasn't some random job I took just for some extra cash or something like that. I worked in the restaurant industry for a little while. I mean, that was pretty cool, but that's what it is.
Yeah, customer service and stuff. Yeah, that's I couldn't even imagine. I feel like you totally the artist that got like 2 checks and then pieced out like immediately, like mid shift.
I literally took it was one year around the holiday season, like Christmas season. I literally went to Michael's to go get like a canvas or something. I saw they was hiring. I just did the application. I'm like, just get a discount. I was literally working there just for the discount. And as soon as January hit, I was like, what's so crazy? I was literally in there just coasting. I'm just, chilling, just, Marshawn Lynch. I'm here so I don't get fined. And they was just telling me like, yo, you a rock star. You doing great. I'm like, really? All right. Really? And then, right. So when the season was over, I'm expecting to get laid off. They're like, no, we want to keep you on. I'm like, I don't really want to be here.
Right. Yeah. The discount is over.
Yeah. Discount is over.
That's crazy.
I've worked jobs like that too. It's like, you really want me to stay? I did nothing while I was here.
I did nothing.
The irony. And then like the job you like working super hard at, you just get overlooked the whole time.
You're fired.
Right. Yeah. That's messed up, man. You got any final remarks, Rizzo?
Hey, I mean, every time we do this, man, it's just so great. It's like the time flies by, and if there wasn't a timer counting the time of the show, I would have no idea like how much time has passed or a feeling of how much time has passed.
And we started late because the artist showed up late.
Yeah, the artist was fashionably late, as they like to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say thank you to Chuck, to Maaly. Man, it's always awesome to hear people's stories and just what you're getting into and all the things you're working on. So I wish you guys all the best success. Definitely want to connect with you after the show on some of the stuff you guys talked about. And any way we can help, we'll always do so. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, you guys can just like stay on after we finish if you can. But where can people find you, man? Chuck, where can they find you if they're looking for you?
Yeah. You can find me on LinkedIn.
Hey.
Just follow me, Charles Martin III. I'm the bald guy in a green shirt and blue tie. So
there you go. That's like such a like royal name. Like he comes from like an Didn't you say that?
Yeah, I said that because I was just coming back from London. I was like, sounds like we're interviewing one of the guys I just saw on the street.
He's like, is he English? I was like, I don't know.
You should see recruiters when I walk in the interview. They're like.
This is not the guy.
It's like, my name is Charles Henry Martin III. Just to add an extra layer of
very prestigious.
But I mean, if you like pull a Carlton look, if you just come in dressed like Carlton, they'll believe it, bro.
Yeah.
Maaly, where can people find you, man?
Yeah, I'm also on LinkedIn at Maaly Williams, man, spelled exactly how it is on the screen. Nice. I don't know if y'all can see it.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. Okay, but for people that are listening, Maaly Williams.
Yep.
And that's where that's your go-to platform, LinkedIn.
Go to if you wanna hire me.
Hire this man.
You willing to give up your entrepreneurial spirit just to have a job?
Listen, man. If it's a graphic design position, I'm open. So on my LinkedIn it says open to work.
Nice. Creators are coming to LinkedIn, and this is God. I feel like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid even sharing this. But creators are coming to LinkedIn, and they're building their networks and businesses on the platform. So
absolutely,
I encourage you to lean into that, Molly.
Nah, absolutely. I feel like LinkedIn is like the new Instagram. It's like it's the place to actually be. Like if you really if you're a shaker and mover trying to make it happen, like it's the place. I spend a lot of time. Like I don't even have social media apps on my phone other than Twitter and LinkedIn. Like those are my. Yep. I'm always on there. That's all you really need.
Pretty much.
And Facebook is just like social media vomit. Like my old principal, family, people from high school, people from grade school. It's too much.
That's because it's so old. It's been around so long.
Yeah.
So long.
Yeah. Well, man, dude, it's been so much, man. It's great having you guys on. I could literally talk to y'all forever. Hopefully, people at home listening and watching, you got something out of this. You enjoyed yourself. But I guess until we meet again next week, side by side.
Side by side. Thank you.
Man, appreciate y'all. Take care.
Love you guys.
Love, man.